Welcome to the Starry-Eyed Effect. I'm Steph.
And I'm Jen. On this podcast, we'll be chatting about all things Williams syndrome.
The ups and downs, and what it's like living with Williams syndrome.
We're excited to share our community with you. Thanks for being here.
Everybody, my name is Stella. How are you, Brenda?
I'm doing well, Stella. How are you?
What happened today for you? It was your
last day of school.
Last day of school.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
What grade are you in now?
That's
awesome. 7th grade. I know. I cannot even believe it. So we had a busy week. That's why I look like this with a hat on, because it's been fast and furious around here. Mm-hmm. We managed to squeeze in a couple guests, though.
Yeah. We did. Tuesday, we filmed Tommy, Barbarella, and Mariella Elm, and it was really, really cool. And today, which is Friday, we filmed one of my dear friends, Kristen Van Handel, who's obviously part of the Williams syndrome community, and I've worked with her mother on the board. So it was really cool to get to see her and interview her. And, she's doing really awesome things with Sephora and Best Buddies and all the good stuff.
Yeah, these were two sets of guests that are doing a lot of good stuff. I just found out today, I think you just told me, Brendan, that, Tommy was a keyboardist for Prince, but he was also a keyboardist for the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I read on his Wikipedia page.
Stella was very excited about that, right?
Yeah.
Do you love the Jonas Brothers?
Yes, I do.
She does.
They're great.
She does.
They're really good. Yeah.
But Mariella was so well spoken, and the two of them together, that relationship, loved it.
It was pure gold for sure. It was great.
And Kristen, oh my gosh, she is I was trying hard not to fangirl over her because I saw her in the Sephora ad, and of course she looks just like Stella, and I think representation is so important. So it was really good to talk to her about what she's doing.
Yeah, she's killing it. She's absolutely killing it. She's doing great.
Well, I guess we should share what we talked about. Should we share it, or should we just keep it to ourselves?
No, we should definitely share it.
Okay, man. Well, thank you.
Hi, Tommy, and hi, Mariella. Hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for being on the podcast. It's great to have you guys on.
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here today doing this amazing podcast.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you.
We are. So for our listeners who don't know you, they kind of know you because you sing this intro song to the podcast. Is the official title You Need a Friend?
For the song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, wonderful. Well, introduce yourselves to our listeners formally.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mariella. I'm 17 years old, and I have Williams syndrome. So
I'm Tommy.
Oh, there you go.
I'm your dad, and I'm not going to tell my age necessarily. I don't think it's important. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a dad mostly. I'm a professional musician, and I'm here.
And you guys are in Minnesota?
We're in Minneapolis.
Yes,
Minneapolis.
Where are you guys?
Well, I'm in Colorado.
Okay.
And
That's
Brendan
right.
is in Connecticut, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
We are so excited to hear more about you. I've met you briefly at convention. I want to get into that in a minute, but why don't you and your dad tell us about your story, how old you were when you were diagnosed with Williams syndrome, Mariella, and you're 17 now, kind of what you've been doing to date.
Okay, so
From the beginning.
from the beginning. So I think I was a baby when I got diagnosed.
That's pretty general, but yeah.
It's pretty general, but
you were...
when I found out, I was about 6 or 5.
We found out when you were, I'm terrible, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Mom would know it down to the month. But yeah, you didn't have any major heart issues, so we didn't. One of the reasons a lot of people know when they're really babies is because of the heart conditions that require surgeries and stuff. You did not have that, so we didn't know. But you had a lot of other charming characteristics, like crying all the time. But yeah, you didn't find out. We didn't tell you had Williams syndrome until 7?
Yes.
7.
7 or something. And my initial reaction was, why didn't you tell me in the first place? Because, like, I guess I wanted to know earlier than later, but because I was only 7 years old, I wouldn't really understand if I was 5 years old.
But it's pretty funny because we'd already gone to the camp. We'd been to the music therapy camp, and she still didn't know or didn't ask any questions. It was just a fun camp,
Yeah.
And I was terrified at that first camp, because I'm like, she's going to start asking questions. I'm going to have to tell her she has Williams syndrome. I don't want to do it by myself. Her mom should be here too. So I remember sitting around the campfire with some of the other parents, like, does your kid know they have Williams syndrome? And they're like, well, yeah, of course. But we went through the whole week and you never asked. And we just had a good time.
Yes, I just had a good time. Yeah.
Except for the bee sting.
Yeah, that bee sting was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And I can totally relate to how you feel, Mariella. I wasn't diagnosed with Williams syndrome until I was almost 13. But my parents didn't tell me right away too. So I can understand how you felt at that point.
You guys, this is like earth-shattering for me, because as far as like when we knew, she knew. So this is interesting that you didn't know. Do you remember how you asked or how you found out? How'd that conversation go down?
Yeah, so basically my mom was like, family meeting time. I was like, oh, this hasn't happened for a while. So we went down and my mom and papa were there. They were kind of nervous to tell me. And then they were like, Mariella, we have to tell you something. And you have Williams syndrome. And I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me in the first place? Like I said before. And they were like, oh, it was just because you were too young. You wouldn't really understand. I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. I accepted it right away. I didn't ask like a bunch of questions. I didn't really get that emotional about it.
We were terrified.
Yeah, they were terrified.
And she was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when your sister came back, she was like, guess what?
I have Williams syndrome.
And she said, like, cool. Didn't she? She said,
yeah.
She said,
or
cool.
Something like that.
And how has school been for you?
For me, school has been up and down. I've always lived in Minneapolis, but there are good times, there are bad times that are with school, but some of the good things for me, it's socializing, very talkative, very good at writing, of course, being in theater. I love doing theater. It's one of my favorite things to do. Then the downsides are kind of like, well, socializing is kind of in the both between, because if, like a friend group has kind of like fallen apart in my mind, I'm like, oh, why is this happening? Why can't we all be friends? Because, we're very like talkative and we want everyone to be there for each other. But one of the good things about middle school is that I got to start making my musical, in which it's such a great opportunity to do. That's a good thing about middle school.
So like I said, I had the pleasure of kind of seeing this mini preview of your musical. Would you guys mind telling us about how this idea developed and where you're at with it now?
Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah, so when I was in middle school, I have done like a bunch of theater also in elementary, but I usually didn't get the parts that I wanted, and I kind of just did not feel great about that. And then I decided I'm kind of done with this. I want to do it my way, I guess, like do it my way. So my papa played the piano and I would like sing random stuff. And then we listened to it and we're like, dang, that could be a song. And then we started recording the songs. And so from where we are now, we have a writer that's writing the whole musical, like Act 1 and Act 2, and it's really fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I would
That's awesome.
I would just play, we would do show tunes around the piano often. I'd I would just play Broadway stuff, and we'd do sing-alongs and stuff. And then sometimes I would just improvise and just start playing, and she would start singing, and I'm like, what was that? Do that again. And she just discovered she had this amazing ability to just improvise songs on the spot, lyrics and all. They would just come out, and it was never the same way twice. But after figuring something out, like, yeah, do that again, I would like go take it to a B section, to a bridge, to a chorus, and she would follow me. She could hear where I was going and would sing the next part and follow the chords.
Yeah,
it was amazing. And so to catch lightning in a bottle, so to speak, I would just quickly start recording these takes. And, the songs you heard us perform, it's about half of those lyrics were there when it just came out improvisationally.
Yeah.
And then we would finish the lyrics later, the rest of them, and the production.
So you didn't really start out thinking like, we're going to make a musical. You just started like singing one day, and then all the stuff started coming out. And then how did you, man, this could be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I literally said, it's like, you were disappointed with some of the roles you'd get. And I'd be like, screw it. Let's write our own musical.
Yeah.
As a music guy, I'm not really listening to the lyrics she's singing, but it would play it back and hear what she was saying and singing. It was all about her day at middle school and all the issues and problems. And so it was just like insight into seeing what was going on in her day. Didn't really know about a lot of it. We didn't know about, and it would come out in these songs, and a lot of lyrics about bullies and mean girls and drama and having a unique disability that nobody quite understands. That's just was kind of the recipe for all the songs. When I pitched it to some theaters, they were like, well, it's amazing. First of all, the songs are great. Love the songs, but the storyline's kind of weak. We've heard the story before. So the writer we're working with, her name is Lauren Taslitz. We ended up talking with her quite a bit. And she came to visit us for a weekend, spent a weekend with us. And she's been writing this script for this show that has taken everything we've done, all of our ideas, and elevated it in
a whole new level.
It's incredible. She's, what she's come with so far is just like, OMG. It's just better than I could have ever imagined. Yeah. Super cool.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
It sounds cool. And you said you're a musician, and I assume you traveled a lot during that time. I mean, how was being a musician and having the kind of job that comes with that? How does that affect your parenting of a child who has needs?
Yeah. So I stopped touring when her sister was 1. So you would have been 3. So okay. Shortly after the diagnosis, and we were fortunate when they were little, we had au pairs and nannies helping us, and I was still traveling a bit. But yeah, I made a conscious decision to get off the road and be a parent who was present. And part of the story too, it's like, I played with Prince for many years before that, leaving some of that lifestyle and life behind and doing the parenting thing. And, I still am an active professional musician, but I've made choices along the way to be home more. So obviously that life is a little more behind the scenes. So that's working that into the story as well.
I think that you're right, that a lot of parents go through this. So it doesn't matter what kind of job you have, right? When you have a kiddo that comes into your life that has a disability, or, for any of your children for that matter, it shifts the dynamic. And so it requires a lot of soul searching from the parents to figure out, like, how am I going to do this?
So we always would have on the CBS morning show in the morning when I'm like making lunches and breakfast for school. And I had this vision of us on the CBS morning show talking about The Girl Who Cried Different. And I couldn't let go of that. I'm like, this is going to be huge. I can see it.
And I love this relationship because you, like you were saying before, Tommy, like you have the I guess, composition mind, right? Where you're like playing music, but you're not listening to the lyrics, but then you're complimenting him, Mariella, by being so like lyrically gifted. So the two of you putting that together is super fun. So this is like your house every day. You're just writing songs and giving them to Dad, and he's coming up with the melodies, right?
Not every day, I would say, but I like writing the stuff, and I try to do it mostly
We're gonna have
a
to
lot
write.
of the time.
We're gonna have to write a few more songs for Act Two.
Yeah, it's always fun.
How do you feel about now you're 17, right? Like you're a role model for other people with Williams syndrome. Is there anything you want to share with the community about your journey with Williams syndrome?
The journey might be tough, but do you know what? You'll make a bunch of friends, and if you're nervous for school, trust me, I've been there. I've been nervous, and if you just found out that you have Williams syndrome and you don't really understand what it is, don't worry. You can go to the Williams Syndrome Association website and they have a bunch of information, or you could ask a professional or someone out there. Or listen to the podcast because it talks a lot about Williams syndrome, and you are not alone. Even though it's a very rare disability, you will make a bunch of friends. Also, go to the camps, go to the conventions, go to other events that deal with Williams syndrome, like the Williams Walk. And also you can support Williams syndrome by having like merch and other things like that. Yeah.
You should tell them what you did at school today.
So at school I did a whole presentation about what Williams syndrome is and the ups and downs about Williams syndrome. And fun fact, I talked a little bit about my presentation in the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. And
you mean you talked about the podcast,
the
presentation?
Well, but I also talked about the math stuff also from the presentation. And
so in the presentation, she's like, the positive things about Williams syndrome, and then the negative things, math.
Yes.
And then you opened it up for questions at the end, and the one question was kind of a math question. It was,
what is the statistics of how many, like, one in what have Williams syndrome? 1 in 10,000.
But your answer was like, I don't know, like 1 in 500. Like you didn't know. And it's like, see the first negative thing, math.
Well, I do a lot of math with Stella, and I agree with you. It's like, even for me, I'm like, what are we learning? It's so confusing. And I'm like, this is very annoying. I don't feel like if I learned that in school, I don't remember any of it.
Math?
No, trigonometry or algebra?
I'm learning about circles now, and the area and the circumference and the diameter of a circle. I'm sorry to all those mathematicians out there, and even if you have Williams syndrome and you like math out there, it's just not my thing. Why would I want to go into math class, learn about a circle, when I've learned about squares and triangles and all the hypotenuses and all the Pythagorean theorem problems I've had to do?
Jeez.
It's just
that knowledge. Those are all things I don't even know, girl.
Yeah.
It's
Same.
But I still love you all, though, for people that like math. It's just not my thing. It's hard for me. So if you could understand that, that would be great. Also,
Mariella is no math.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably never thought that a diagnosis, so many years ago, that here you would be writing a musical with your daughter and having this like full circle experience.
Mm-hmm.
it's such a fun experience. If you want to write something and maybe think about writing a musical, don't wait. Go for it. That's what I did.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah, right.
Right?
So go with your heart. If you want to do something, but other people are like, no, don't do that. Don't listen to them. Do what you want to do. Go out in the world. Find your dream job. Go to different places that you've never been before. Like, try new things. And then things will become...
You should definitely be a counselor.
Yeah.
I was feeling like that.
Yeah.
Like this is like another like breakthrough of a song, right? Like, do what you want to do. Like I'm feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, right?
Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta stick up for yourself. You gotta stick up. There ain't nobody else. Stick up right now.
All right. So, hello, everybody. Today we have Kristen Van Handel on the show. Hi, Kristen. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing well. So, for those who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Kristen Van Handel. I'm a 31, almost 32-year-old adult with Williams syndrome. I was born on May 31st, and I'm just happy and honored that you guys asked me to come on here and be interviewed, and I'm very excited to share my story with all of you. Thank you for having me.
Kristen, we haven't met before, but I have, well, yes, you want to introduce me? You can introduce me. Go ahead.
You're Jennifer, because I'm your daughter.
Yep. And why don't you introduce yourself to Kristen?
Hello, my name is Stella.
Hi, Stella. Oh, it's lovely to meet you, Stella. How old are you, Stella?
I'm 12 and I'm turning 13 in July.
Oh, lovely, wonderful. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So
Amazing.
that's how I am in this community, and I love it. It's so fun. So I first saw your face a couple of weeks ago. I had this ad pop up on my Instagram from Sephora, and I saw your face, and I was like, OMG. I was so excited. So you got to tell us
Aw.
about what you do.
Yeah, I'm a beauty advisor at Sephora, which honestly is really crazy to think about because I grew up loving makeup very, very much. And, I always had this dream of, working in the makeup industry, but I never, ever in a million years thought that it would actually become a reality. And then as I got older and as I realized, okay, I have a huge passion for this, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to see where this takes me and we'll see where it goes. And then I ended up getting connected to best buddies, but I also really close to where I live, we have a Sephora, so I would go and I would visit them every single weekend, and so I got to develop a really good relationship with the managers and with all the people that work there, and they got to know me, and a relationship was bonded, and after all, I was like, you know what? I think I'm actually going to apply here. And I think I'm actually going to take that leap of faith and really honestly give it a shot, And I am so beyond happy that I decided to do that and that I had faith and trust in myself to do so.
How old were you when you were diagnosed with Williams syndrome?
I think I was less than a year old. My parents, when I was born, I went straight into the NICU, and, at that time, I had some issues, and then after a while, once I, got healthy and, other than a few minor things, and then after a while, my parents realized that developmentally that there were some challenges and that, I wasn't developing like other children my age would be developing at that point in time. And so after that, my parents were like, trying to figure out what was going on and, what was happening. And then I went and I saw a specialist and I officially got diagnosed.
So in addition to being a working girl, you're living like independently. And before you started with Sephora, did you have a job, or was this like your first job in California?
This was my first, official, paying job. I would go to day programs where it would be like we would go out in the community and help the community, or I would go different places to volunteer. But this was my first ever real paid job that, it was really exciting. It was really, really wonderful and really great. And I'm just so lucky. I'm very thankful and very blessed.
That's awesome. How long have you been with Sephora?
I have been with Sephora since October 10th. So quite a while now, to get to see the impact and get to meet all these amazing people from all walks of life, to just to just be able to get to do that and, not only help clients with makeup, but also to make everyone feel welcomed and everyone feel accepted and to make everyone feel seen and heard is really, really, really huge.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. My 18-year-old niece is a huge fan of Sephora.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Stella has a question for you.
Absolutely, Stella.
What's your favorite makeup brand?
That's a really, really, really good question. I definitely have a couple of favorites, but I really love Sephora's brand because, I think they have really great, amazing makeup, and I really love all their makeup products. Sephora is just so great and so amazing and so wonderful, and I really love it.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have a job coach that works with you through Best Buddies?
I do have a job coach. When I first got the job, she was coming, before I officially got hired, she was coming with me every day and, checking in and just being there for me while I was going through the training process. But then once she was able to see that I was doing a good job and that I didn't need her there as much, it got down to now it's like she'll come and see me only once every couple of months. My manager at Sephora is absolutely incredible. She is just so kind and so respectful and so understanding and so accommodating. And, whenever I have a question or if there's something I need to talk to her about, or if there's something going on that needs to be brought to her attention, I can have that conversation with her. And, I really appreciate that because not everywhere you work are you going to have that experience where you have that kind of working relationship where you're able to talk to your managers. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
How did the, I don't know, what do we call it when it's on Instagram? Is it a reel? How did this reel of you at Sephora how did this happen?
Yeah, so actually Sephora had come to me and they were like, hey, we think you're doing such a phenomenal job and we would really love to be able to put your makeup routine together and, have it on a big, huge platform so all the rest of our clients can, see and, that way we can show other clients that, being loving and being kind and respectful, but also showing that beauty comes from all walks of life. Beauty doesn't discriminate and it doesn't, just being able to show that like anyone can work for Sephora and it doesn't matter whether or not you're disabled. Like that's a really beautiful thing. And I can't begin to tell you the impact that video has had on my life, not to mention the daily basis when I walk into work and when I see clients who have come in who may not never met anyone with a disability and, to be able to hear from clients and from other people the impact that watching my video has had on them has been truly life-changing. And it's just incredible to witness. And it's really a beautiful gift.
Yeah, it's really great that you're able to spread awareness through the work that you do. It's really cool. And I watched the reel too. It was great. You did a good job.
Representation is so important.
It is.
Stella's only 12, but one of the things that as her parent, I saw early on was that there wasn't a lot of representation of people with disabilities in general in a lot of different, phases of life. And work is something that I'm really passionate about. I think having a job provides so many learning skills and benefits to not only the individual working, but to other people as well. And so to me, when I saw you on Sephora, I'm like super excited that you're representing Williams syndrome, but I'm also like, look, like you are out there shattering all of these norms, like you said, about beauty and about working with a disability. And that makes me happy because that paves the way for like this age, right? So that they can see and go, like, I can do that too. Although I'm going to tell you, Kristen, Stella's makeup, she needs some makeup skills. She's not so good with the makeup, are you?
Kind of.
Parents that are like, before I saw your video, I was so scared and afraid of what my kid's future looked like.
Yep.
And I showed my kid your video, and because I saw your video, I now have faith and trust. And I believe that because you're going and you're showing other people that you can do it, that means that my kid can do that too. And to hear that just like brings me a tear. That the impact that has had on me, it just means a lot.
Yeah, our disability does not define who we are.
You said your manager is really cool. Do you want to give her a shout out on this page right now while she's listening?
Yeah, her name is Kristen, and Kristen, you are an incredible, amazing manager. I love the fact that I can come to you whenever I need to, and I love the fact that you not only tell me how profound of an impact I'm making on you, but on so many others, and I appreciate that very, very much. It means a lot to me to get to do that.
Hey, so how at work, so you work a couple days a week and you take an Uber. Obviously at work, you're dealing with a lot of like customers and I don't know what exactly you're doing at Sephora, but like, how do you handle all of that anxiety? Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff like you were mentioning, just even getting in a car and driving to work, that's stressful. How do you manage that anxiety?
I really enjoy working with customers, and so yes, there is a lot of customers coming in, in and out. And yes, sometimes you will get those customers that are just not having a great day, or, they're in a crabby mood. And, just being able to like just remind myself to take a deep breath and to just calm myself and relax. And, my work is very good at, knowing what things bother me. So I would say that working with hard customers doesn't really bother me.
Do you have anxiety, Brandon?
I found one of the tools that has really, really helped me is square breathing, like taking a deep breath in, holding it for like 4 seconds, and then letting it out really slow, and then repeating it like 3 or 4 different times. And then that generally will bring my heart rate down, and then it'll just slowly go away. Yeah, deep breathing has like really been a big help. So,
And I would say for me, one of the biggest tools that I use is peppermint oil. And so when I'm feeling really stressed, I actually carry peppermint oil with me everywhere I go. So if I am feeling anxious and stressed, I just rub it on my arms, and then I take a deep breath and breathe it in, and then, like you said, do that huge breath, and hold it, and then blow it out, and that really seems to help.
Ooh, these are good suggestions. And you smell lovely, I bet, when you have peppermint oil all over. Well, I love this. I love talking about all this stuff. We could talk about this all the time, but I know, Kristen, you want to talk about something that you love, and I have to tell you, we are excited because what are we doing in July? Where are we going?
Taylor Swift.
We're going to go to the Taylor Swift concert in July, and we live in Colorado, so that's when it is in July.
Awesome!
So excited. You're a big Taylor
That's
Swift
really
fan.
awesome because yes, oh my goodness, yes, I would have to say that like she literally is my ride or die. Like I literally will do anything and everything for Taylor Swift. Like I would say that I'm a huge Swiftie, and her music honestly has like impacted my life on such a big, huge, beautiful way, but also it has helped me get through so many things. And it has really, 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 really I just love her so much, and her music, the profound impact that it's had on me, like it has helped me through a lot of really hard, really difficult, challenging times. And the fact that I get to listen to her music and she makes me feel like I am understood and that I'm not judged, and the fact that I just feel loved by listening to her music. And I feel like when I listen to her music, I know at the end of the day, no matter what it is I'm going through, I know that I'm going to be okay, and I know that I'm going to get through it.
So in California, has she been on tour yet? Did you go to the Eras tour, or you go when?
I am going to the Eras tour in August, so I'm beyond excited for that. I am over the moon excited. I literally, honestly, cannot wait, because I think it's going to be such a incredible experience. And I've been watching a lot of the Eras tours live on TikTok, but also, when people post YouTube videos from her concert. And, I've just been getting so excited for her concert, and I just have, I'm so excited to go. And the fact that I'm going with my family, and the fact that like I get to go to a Taylor Swift concert with the people that I love and that mean the most to me is really, really huge. And, my family has gotten to see the impact that Taylor Swift has had on my life for years. And, during her Reputation Stadium tour, I actually got to go backstage and meet her and hang out with her, which was really incredible and really amazing. It was so special.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's an interesting. So good. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that because we were talking about anxiety a minute ago, and then we talked about Taylor Swift, and you were saying it sounds like her music has been very instrumental to you for a lot of things, but also for anxiety. I love Taylor Swift too, and I love all of her music. Great. You love Taylor Swift, right?
Yes, I do.
We like it. What is your favorite album? Do you have one?
Oh yeah. I really love her latest album, Midnights. It's really, really good.
Yes.
But I also really love Reputation, and I think the reason why I love Reputation a lot is because whenever I listen to it, it reminds me of how I got to go backstage and how I got to meet her and how I got to hang out with her, which was just such a incredible moment. And I never ever thought that it would happen. And the fact that my parents decided, I didn't honestly, it was the day after my 26th birthday, and my parents actually knew that I was going to go backstage and that I was going to meet her, and they did not tell me that I was going to do that. So the night before, I heard my parents whispering, and I was like, that's interesting. And my mom went all out. Like, my mom made this custom Taylor Swift jacket with all these patches and all these things. And I remember we drove down to Chicago, and I remember my parents took me out to dinner, and they were like, hey, we forgot to tell you this, but by the way, you're going to get a chance to go backstage and meet her. And I just remember, like, honestly, at that point, I was so, like, I didn't even have the words. Like, I was so excited, and I just felt like I cannot believe this is happening. Like, to think that I'm going to meet somebody that has had such a profound impact and has changed my life for forever, and the fact that that's going to happen. It honestly didn't hit me until I literally went backstage and I literally could see her. Like, the second I saw the family go right in front of me, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's my turn. Like, I started crying after that. Like, that's when it really hit me. Like, wow, this is real. I'm really going to meet her, and I'm really going to be able to tell her what a profound impact she's had on my life, and to just thank her for everything that she's done for me. And that in itself, and get to watch my parents watch me meet her, and to watch my parents individually get to thank her for all the things that she has done for me and my family, and to get them to thank her and for her impacts on my life, that is a memory that will last me for the rest of my life. And honestly, I have to say, she is the kindest human being I've ever met. She is just so welcoming. Like, I've never met anybody that literally, like, even though, you know, I'm only talking to her for like a couple of minutes, she makes you feel like you've been her best friend for her whole entire life. Like, that is how she makes you feel. She makes you feel like you are the most special, most important human being in her life. And she's just so special to me. And getting to do that and getting to hug her and getting to tell her thank you so much for everything that you've done for me and the impact that you've had on my life. Like, it has meant so much to me, and getting to be able to do that, like, that was just such an incredible gift and such a incredible moment that I will remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Your Instagram page, isn't that like part of your Instagram handle is like Kristen loves Taylor Swift or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yes it is. Yeah, like yes, my Instagram definitely has Taylor Swift's name on it, and I also posted the photo of me and her, and you know, just it was so fun getting to surprise other people too, because other people knew that I was going to the concert, but nobody had any idea that I was going to go backstage and meet her. So the fact that I got to surprise all the people that like have been wishing and praying for this day to happen, and to get to be like, guess what? It happened. I've been keeping a secret from you guys, and getting to see other people's reaction to it was just incredible, because everybody knew how special and how important she was to me, and getting to see people's reaction to that was really incredible.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. So, I mean, I feel like you're living a great life right now. How would you say, like, you know, you've been a baby with Williams syndrome, you've been a teenager with Williams syndrome, you've been an adult with Williams syndrome. Which one of those phases of life has been the funnest? Is it adult?
It is adulthood, without a doubt. I would say that, you know, being an adult, you know, I have to say it has given me the most purpose, the most joy, the most happiness, the most fulfilled I have ever felt in my whole entire life. And it honestly, being adult has truly been incredible and amazing. And it's definitely has been my favorite years of my life for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Brenda, do you feel the same way, or did you prefer the teen years? I'm just kidding. I know you didn't.
My adult years, especially in the last like decade or so, I would say, or the past 2 decades, have been really important to me and really eye-opening, you know, especially having my own band for 10 years, you know, 9 or 10 years, you know, working for MTV. It's now, you know, getting involved with Best Buddies, and, you know, was an ambassador for Best Buddies, getting involved with Special Olympics, and now getting to be on the board, and now also being able to do this has been, you know, amazing. Plus, you know, all the other life experiences that I've had as an adult has been really, really cool. Things are definitely, you know, going on a slow and steady incline for sure.
I don't know about you, Brendan, but my teenage years were definitely the hardest. I had a really difficult, hard time in my teenage years. I don't know about you, but that was definitely my experience.
Yeah, teenage years were definitely not the best. I could but you know, that was then. You know, this is now, and you know, I'm in a really good place, and you know, physically and mentally, you know, life is good. Life is good. And
Good.
I think we're both living our best lives right now. So yeah.
I would agree. And, you know, hear that your life is so great and so fulfilling for you. Honestly, that makes me so happy to hear that. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure.
You've been listening to The Starry-Eyed Effect, presented by the Williams Syndrome Association. The show is hosted by Jennifer Keaton and Stephanie Karen, and produced by me, Joel Lispin. Theme song by Tommy Barbarella and Mariella Elm. Got a question for Steph and Jen? Email us at podcast@williams-syndrome.org. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and maybe it will get featured on a future episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to The Starry-Eyed Effect wherever you get your podcast delights.